Hi folks, welcome to Reread, where I'm rereading through the Star Wars Expanded Universe in chronological order, something no one should ever do, unless I guess you've read it all before. Alright, now before I get to the Sith War comic book, which is what I want to talk about today, I did happen to read the Star Wars Adventure Journal number 11, short story Most Dangerous Foe. Again, it happens, I think, during the Rebellion era, but he's telling a story from the Old Republic era of Visi and Vinci, brother and sister. Sister is older and studying to be a Jedi. The brother is way younger and just wants to tag along. He sneaks along on this mission, this test mission. It's nothing too dangerous, with his little sister. With his older sister. And it is basically the Yoda and the cave at Dagobah with Luke storyline again, just told from the Old Republic standpoint. This could be told in any era, really, in a way, but it's still told in the Old Republic era, where she passes all these tests, and it's basically, the most dangerous foe is yourself, your self-doubt, your, want for this, your want for defense, or your quick thought, your irrational thoughts or whatever. And so she's going to learn her lessons through the end and explain to her master what the most dangerous foe is. It's run-of-the-mill for a West End Games short story back in the mid to early 90s, which I don't mind at all. I don't mind this at all. Back in the day, you weren't expecting that much. It's not a bad story, but you can tell at the very beginning, oh, okay, this is just another retelling of Empire Strikes Back, Yoda and the Cave of Dagobah. I got it. So that's that, just for that short story there. Now, with the Sith War, written by Kevin J. Anderson, who's completely taken over at this time, he is continuing his connections through Dark Empire, and of course his own trilogy, Jedi Academy trilogy. We have to fast forward, I'm guessing a year or a few years later, where they're really causing trouble, Ulic and Exar Kun. Ulic challenges the Mandalore himself, I can't remember what his the Indomitor or whatever, the leader, basically the crown king of the Mandalorians, and it's a big, knockdown, drag out fight, Mandalorian warrior versus Jedi Knight, and it's a strong battle, but of course Ulic Qel-Droma wins. The Mandalore's like, well, you get to kill me, as our tradition states, wear my mantle and command my fleet, or kill them. They're at your disposal. He's like, no, why would I kill you? You're a valuable asset, and I want you to work for me. So now he's got a whole Mandalorian army with him. And with that, he thinks that's enough to storm Coruscant and take it over, and basically restructure the New Republic, or the Old Republic. And when he tells Exar Kun this, he's like, no, that's not what we're doing. We're training Jedi. We're building up our forces. He went, no, you're doing that. I'm doing this. And so you can see they both have their own different agendas, okay? And even though they've been paired up, that doesn't mean they follow the same path. And Ulic does have somewhat of a twisted idea of how he's going to reconstruct the Republic to be much stronger and better, and he believes this is the way. Much like we've seen a lot of Sith later on. If you remember, Jason Solo was a lot like this. He felt like this was the only way to, move his destiny and the destiny of the galaxy along, was to be part of the dark side and do the things he did, because those were the evil necessary means to a good ending. And every Sith kind of thinks like that. In a way, you could say, well, that's the dark side tempting you, making you think you're doing the right thing. How many people do you know? They know that you have a friend who's doing the wrong thing, but they have to convince themselves it's the right thing. And they always have a reason, right? And so it makes a lot of sense that, these Sith always have a reason. They're not really it's a necessary evil. They hate doing it. They don't want to do it, but they have to. He doesn't want to hurt his brother, Kay. He doesn't want to hurt Noam. He's like, what are you doing here? You got to get out of here. I didn't think you'd be here in my calculations. But meanwhile, let me go to Exar Kun. He's tempted some of the Jedi. One of the Jedi we've seen, I can't remember his name now. I think it's Oz, who was riding Master Thrawn in the beginning of Tales of the Jedi. And so he tempts him and says, hey, look, our Jedi Masters are not revealing us everything about the Force. Look what all I can do, and it's because of Sith magic. It's not, it is dark side, but you can control it, you can own it, you can balance it. And we need these powerful, tools to help us be stronger. And he's convinced a few, Jedi to go with him, about, I believe he says 20, even though we don't see that many, we just see a handful of them. There are two mated lovers. They're from a different species. I don't know which species it is, but they part ways because he thinks Exar Kun has a point while she doesn't. Now that will come into play way later, what happened with these two mates. It's a sad, tragic tale. One will die basically at the betrayal of Exar Kun, and his mate will, basically swear revenge on, even though it was Exar Kun who betrayed her mate. She thinks it's Ulic Qel-Droma. I mean, I get it because they were a team, but anyway, Ulic Qel-Droma's girlfriend, evil Sith girlfriend he's with, is also someone who betrayed him or tried to betray him during his invasion of Coruscant that failed. The Mandalorians know that. He's like, nope, all in good time. And so he and Exar Kun send both of these people on a mission that they know they're going to fail. A star goes supernova, and immediately they realize they've been betrayed, these two people, by Exar Kun and Ulic Qel-Droma. And so they get their comeuppance, I guess, or the Sith get their revenge. Exar Kun's fate is, he brings these Jedi onto Yavin 4. He actually kills one of the Jedi Masters while they're not looking and grabs the Sith holocron. And as the Jedi Master basically disappears in the Force, they say, what happened? He's like, well, he passed away, but before he passed away, he gave me the Sith holocron. He said I was right. He said, I am a Jedi Master now, and I should teach y'all this. And they're like, oh. And basically it's a good way to say, okay, well, I guess we should trust this guy. Well, instantly when they go on the planet rife with the dark side, they're like, no, this is wrong. We should not do this. And Exar Kun goes, okay, well, that's fine. Just help me destroy the Sith artifact. So they think, okay, this is a good idea. So they all gather around. I don't really know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, giving him power to destroy the Sith holocron. But Exar Kun has he has no intention of destroying the Sith holocron. It shatters. The pieces get shattered into their other Jedi's hands were outstretched, and the pieces of the Sith holocron sink into them, kind of poison their mind, poison their brain, because all of its knowledge is embedded into them, and makes them turn evil. Now that doesn't seem far-fetched to me. I get it. Sith poison, Sith curses on amulets or magic trinkets have always been a thing. And so things imbued with the dark side, like a Sith holocron, would do this before. I don't think it's too hokey. And so it basically turns them all dark, where they are to return slyly, hiding themselves, shielding themselves, much like Palpatine did from all the Jedi, from their Jedi Masters, and then slaying them or attacking them. Now, everyone's turns out successful. Of course, Master Thrawn is able to escape Oz, and they capture him and eventually heal him from the Sith dark magic infection. But eventually, of course, Exar Kun's plan is going to fail as well as Ulic Qel-Droma. They both fail at the same time. Everyone knows how this story ends. It's great battle, brother versus brother, Ulic versus Kay. He kills Kay, and instantly he regrets it. He realizes he's gone way too far in this. What was he thinking? He let his anger get a hold of him. He's telling his brother, I told you a million times, leave me alone. It's almost like if you ever had a brother or sibling and y'all got in one of your fights as kids, someone went too far, pushed someone or hit someone and hurt them, bruised them, maybe broke something. It was an accident, it was in the heat of the moment, but you did something you instantly regret. But the thing is, that's exactly kind of here what happened. Of course, very extreme, because he kills his brother, instantly regrets it. Nomi Sunrider has some, I guess it's called righteous anger, but she can't control it anymore, and she uses a force tactic that we've never seen before, and I don't think we've seen since. I mean, Callista didn't really exactly have this happen to her, but she uses a force bubble to basically cut Ulic off from the force permanently. Something we've never seen anyone do ever before. Nomi Sunrider is a beast, by the way. She's drawn really great in these next few series. She's very powerful. She's master of battle meditation and, foreseeing battles, and she can turn entire guards in a castle against each other. I think they did that in in an earlier series, but she is a very, very, very powerful Jedi, and so she does something that she didn't even think she had the power to do. She just knew about it. She studied it, but she cuts Ulic off. Now that just, it's like, basically poking out someone's eyes and now they can't see anymore, or blowing out their eardrums, now they can't hear anymore. That would really rattle anyone, right? I mean, I can't imagine something like that happening all of a sudden to someone and then having to live their life. So Ulick is just demoralized. He can't feel the Force. He's a broken man now, and that's kind of how he's left. Meanwhile, the tide has turned against Exar Kun, and now they're coming. The whole invasion fleet's coming over Yavin. He's been building the temples at this point, establishing that little shrine to himself to kind of trap his spirit into the temple, which is where Luke will eventually find it. I've already mentioned this in my first review of the series, where he sends that Sith beast and hiding in one of the other little secret chambers along the forest to be a surprise for them later on. And later on, that means the Marvel comic books, which Kevin J. Anderson was a big fan of. He grew up reading them, in fact, and so he wanted to explain where this, and instead of it being red in this comic book, it turns green. It could have changed colors, lack of sunlight, I guess, I don't know. But where that green, dark side monster comes and attacks Luke in the Marvel comic books. And I thought that was always a neat little wink. It's just one panel, never explained, but that, if you can make the connection if you know Marvel comic books. He also did the connection from, we've seen in Dark Empire, the Jedi Master who turns himself into a tree. That's his natural thing that they do when they get to a certain age. They will turn into trees. He's completely made of wood. And so he turns into a tree to protect all these ancient lightsabers. Why? The lightsaber is very ancient. Luke gets some extra lightsabers in Dark Empire when he sees that tree later on, finds out it was a Jedi Master who protected those lightsabers a long time ago. Well, we get that origin, we get that kind of story told to us, revealed to us as well. So a lot of connections are here made. After Exar Kun, basically just traps his spirit in the temple. I know Ulick Qel-Droma goes to Yavin to see if he can feel Exar Kun there or anything, but he can't feel anything because he's disconnected from the Force, and he kind of walks away. He's just so shattered, and Exar Kun is crying out to him like, Ulick, why can't you hear me? Ulick, help me, I'm trapped. Exar Kun's like, this was a bad idea. I should have thought this out. I overstepped my boundaries. Now I'm trapped in this temple. Ulick, what are you leaving me for? And the darkness is he's kind of screaming out into the darkness, and the darkness swallows him. And I always thought this was a great ending to Tales of the Jedi, and I still stand by it. If the series were to end right here, it would be a fantastic ending. Both tragic endings for Ulick and Exar Kun. They are shut out, either from the Force or from the rest of the world. And two tragic tales from people who had it all, had everything going for them, were very powerful. Again, the artwork, beautiful. I like the mantle and the armor of both Exar Kun and Ulick Qel-Droma, their battle gear. It's, like I said, oh man, the art style and everything about that I didn't get to cover about the first time through. The covers, of course, are just amazing. But everything about the artwork I love about this series, and the entire Tales of the Jedi series is just so good. I could talk about this forever, but I'm going to stop right there. And I will see you next time.